The car door closed softly. The city lights reflected against the window as the engine started moving again. "Hi," she said casually, already holding her phone to her ear. "Yes, I'm in the Uber now." She didn't even look at the driver. He nodded once, hands steady on the wheel, eyes forward. A strong black man, calm posture, disciplined movements, saying nothing, just driving. "Can you believe it?" She laughed into the phone. 5 days. 5 days and it's finally happening. Excited, she crossed her legs comfortably in the back seat, completely at ease. The driver adjusted the mirror slightly. Her reflection appeared, smiling, relaxed, unaware. "No, I love him," she continued. "Well, love him enough." She paused, then lowered her voice slightly. "Listen," she said, amused. "You know I've been seeing someone else, right?" A laugh followed, short, careless. The driver's face didn't change. No reaction, no tension, just silence. "It's not serious," she added quickly. "Just something fun before everything becomes permanent." She rolled her eyes. 4 years together. I deserve a little excitement. The city blurred past the windows. Traffic noise, distant sirens. The car remained a closed space. "He doesn't suspect a thing," she said confidently. "He trusts me completely." Another laugh. "He's probably at home right now, worrying about the wedding details." The driver glanced at the mirror again. Not long enough to be noticed, just enough to confirm. "And the guy I'm meeting," she continued, "he's different, spontaneous, no pressure." She smiled to herself. "I've been seeing him for 2 weeks now." She whispered the last part, as if secrecy still mattered. The driver slowed slightly at a red light. Still no reaction. Still no judgment. "Don't worry," she said to her friend. "I know exactly what I'm doing." She leaned back against the seat. "After the wedding, things will settle down." This is just balance. The light turned green. The car moved again. The driver listened, not as a man eavesdropping, but as someone trained to observe patterns, contradictions, certainty without reflection, confidence built on silence. She ended the call with a satisfied smile. "Okay, I'm here," she said cheerfully. "I'll text you later." She lowered her phone and finally looked forward. Their eyes met, for less than a second, in the rearview mirror. She smiled politely. He nodded, nothing more. The car stopped. Destination reached. She grabbed her bag, opened the door, and stepped out without hesitation. "Thanks," she said casually. The door closed. The driver remained still, hands on the wheel, eyes forward, breathing steady. Some people confess because they believe no one important is listening. Listening. They forget how much a silent witness can hear. The door closed behind her. The city swallowed her laughter almost immediately. The driver didn't move, not for several seconds. He sat there, hands resting on the steering wheel, engine still humming softly, watching the reflection of the streetlights slide across the windshield. He replayed the conversation in his head. Not the words, the confidence behind them. He pulled away from the curb and merged back into traffic. Another ride would come soon. They always did. Driving had taught him something most people never learned. When people believe they are unseen, they reveal exactly who they are. At the next pickup point, he waited. Phone vibrated once. He glanced at it, ignored the notification. Across the city, the woman stepped into a dimly lit apartment. She fixed her hair in the mirror, smiled. The same smile she had worn in the back seat. The same smile she would wear in 5 days walking down the aisle. She wasn't nervous. She felt in control. Back in the car, the driver accepted another request. Different passenger, different destination, same silence. He thought about timing, about choice, about how some people treated loyalty as a temporary inconvenience. His phone vibrated again. This time, he answered. "Yes," he said calmly. A pause. "No, I'm working tonight." Another pause. "Yes, I'll handle it tomorrow." He ended the call and continued driving. The next morning, the city looked different in daylight. Cleaner, more honest. The driver parked and stepped out of the car, changed his jacket, not into anything expensive, just something intentional. He walked into a cafe near the financial district, ordered coffee, sat near the window, observed. Across the street, the woman exited a luxury building. She was talking again, laughing again, gesturing freely, her life untouched by consequence. The driver recognized the pattern immediately. She spoke as if the future was guaranteed, as if nothing she did today could reach her tomorrow. He didn't judge her. Judgment clouds clarity. Instead, he asked himself a better question. What does she think she's protecting? That afternoon, the driver stopped by a quiet office building. No logo on the outside, no signage. Inside, everything was minimal, efficient, purpose-built. A receptionist nodded at him. "Tomorrow?" she asked. He nodded once. "Yes." He left without further conversation. At home, the woman scrolled through wedding photos, dress fittings, shots, honeymoon plans. She smiled, satisfied. Her phone buzzed. A message from the man she was meeting. "Same place tonight?" She typed back without hesitation. "Of course." The driver spent the evening reviewing something else entirely. Documents, names, timelines. He wasn't looking for proof. He already had it. He was looking for alignment. Some truths don't need confrontation. They need positioning. The next day, preparations for the wedding intensified. Deliveries arrived. Calls were made. Everything accelerated. So did the driver's awareness. He drove past the venue once, not to interfere, to understand the environment, the people, the rhythm. He noticed how calm everything felt. Too calm. That night he parked the car and stayed inside. Turn off the engine. Just sat. 5 days. That's how long she thought she had left before everything locked into place. The driver exhaled slowly. 5 days was more than enough time. He checked his phone. A single message waited. He read it once, then locked the screen. Some people believe silence means ignorance. Others learn too late that silence is preparation. The countdown had begun. 5 days sounded small when spoken out loud. But when lived minute by minute, it stretched. Heavy, unforgiving. The woman woke up smiling. Sunlight slipped through the curtains, warming the white walls of the apartment she shared with a man who trusted her completely. She checked her phone before getting out of bed. No missed calls, no suspicious messages. Everything was still under control. She rolled out of bed and stretched, glancing at the framed photo on the nightstand. 4 years together, vacations, holidays, promises. She felt nothing when she looked at it. Just familiarity. Across the city, the Uber driver woke up earlier than usual. Not because he needed to, because routine sharpened the mind. He dressed simply. Same calm movements, same disciplined pace. No urgency. People in control rarely rush. He sat at his small kitchen table and opened a notebook. Not a journal, a place where observations lived. He wrote nothing emotional, just facts, dates, locations, names. Back at the apartment, the woman was already on another call. "Yes, I know," she said impatiently. "No, he doesn't suspect anything." She walked barefoot across the kitchen, sipping coffee. "On making everything perfect." She smiled. "He's predictable." The driver parked near a busy intersection and waited. A new request came in. Accepted. The woman spent the day surrounded by celebration. Dress fittings, flowers, music samples. Everyone congratulated her. Everyone told her how lucky she was. She agreed with them. She laughed easily, confidently, no cracks. That evening, she met the other man again. The meetings were rushed now, shorter, more secretive. Not because she felt guilt, because she felt efficient. The driver drove through the city again that night. Different faces, different stories, but his mind stayed fixed on one. He remembered the way she laughed, not nervously, comfortably, as if betrayal were simply another errand between appointments. The next morning, 3 days left. The woman stood in front of the mirror, adjusting her hair. She practiced her smile. The one for photos, the one for vows, the one for lies that didn't feel like lies anymore. Her phone buzzed. A message from her friend. Still seeing him? She typed back quickly. Of course, don't be dramatic. The driver sat in his car outside the wedding venue. Not parked directly in front. Across the street, observing. He watched deliveries arrive, staff move in and out, security checks. Everything was organized. Everything was built on the assumption that nothing unexpected would happen. He noticed the schedule posted near the entrance. Times, names, order, predictable. That night, the woman dreamed uneasily, not of being caught, of being delayed. 2 days left. The driver spent the morning in quiet meetings. No raised voices, no visible tension, just planning, coordination, preparation. He didn't speak her name. He didn't need to. Everyone involved already understood. The woman felt the shift without understanding it. A subtle pressure, a sense that something was misaligned. She dismissed it. Anxiety before weddings was normal. Everyone said so. She laughed it off during lunch, joked about cold feet. But her laughter sounded thinner. That evening, she passed an Uber on the street. For a split second, she thought it was him. Her chest tightened, then relaxed. You're imagining things, she told herself. 1 day left. The house was full of noise. Family arriving, friends calling, last-minute chaos. She thrived in it. Noise was comforting. Noise drowned thought. The driver spent the night before the wedding alone. No music, no television, just silence. He reviewed everything one last time, not to confirm, to accept. Some truths don't hurt because they are revealed. They hurt because they were chosen. Day of the wedding. The woman woke up early. Her heart raced, not from guilt, from anticipation. She dressed slowly, carefully, every movement precise. She looked flawless, exactly as planned. Outside, the city moved on, unaware, indifferent. The driver dressed as well, not for a shift, for a moment. At the venue, guests began to arrive, smiles everywhere, music soft and hopeful. The woman stood in a private room, veil in place. She took a deep breath. Everything was about to lock into permanence. And somewhere nearby, unseen, unnoticed by her, someone who had heard everything was already there. The venue was perfect. White flowers lined the entrance. Soft music floated through the air. Guests smiled, as if nothing in the world could possibly go wrong today. The woman stood behind a closed door, veil resting gently over her shoulders. She looked at herself in the mirror. Calm, beautiful, in control. She had rehearsed this moment in her head 100 times. 5 minutes, someone whispered from outside. She nodded. Her heart beat faster, not from fear, but anticipation. Then she saw him. Not directly, not at first. A reflection. in the polished glass near the hallway. The Uber driver stood near the entrance, dressed simply, blending in effortlessly among guests and staff. No uniform, no badge, no attention drawn to him. But she recognized him instantly. Her breath caught. For a fraction of a second, the room tilted. No, it can't be. She blinked. He didn't look at her. He didn't need to. Her chest tightened. Memories collided violently. The laughter in the back seat, the careless tone, the certainty that no one important was listening. She forced herself to breathe. You're imagining things, she thought. He's just another guest. But her hands trembled. Outside, guests were taking their seats. The groom stood at the altar, relaxed, smiling, unaware that anything in his life was about to change. The driver moved quietly through the venue. He didn't rush, didn't search. He already knew where he needed to be. The woman stepped forward as the doors opened. Music rose. Everyone stood. She walked down the aisle with perfect posture, perfect timing, perfect smile. His. He stood at the side, hands folded, expression calm, unreadable. Not accusing, not threatening, just present. She almost stumbled, recovered, kept walking. The ceremony began. Words about love, trust, forever. Each sentence landed heavier than the last. The woman couldn't focus. Her mind screamed questions. Why is he here? Does he know my name? Did he say anything? The driver watched quietly, not with satisfaction, with certainty. When the officiant asked for vows, her voice faltered. She glanced again. He hadn't moved. After the ceremony paused briefly for signatures, the driver stepped forward, not toward the altar, toward the groom. "Excuse me," he said quietly, just loud enough to be heard. "May I speak with you privately?" Confused, he looked at the woman. She froze. Her face drained of color. "I'll be right back," the groom said gently, trying to reassure her. She nodded. Too quickly. They stepped into a side room. The door closed. The driver didn't waste time. "I drove your fiancé 5 days ago," he said calmly. The groom's expression shifted. Confusion first, then caution. "She spoke on the phone," the driver continued, "about meeting someone else." Silence filled the room. Not explosive, crushing. The groom didn't interrupt, didn't deny, didn't raise his voice. He simply listened. "She mentioned 4 years together," the driver said, "and 2 weeks of seeing someone else." He paused. "I'm not here to humiliate anyone." The groom exhaled slowly, closed his eyes, then opened them again, said quietly. When they returned, the music had stopped. Guests whispered. The woman searched his face desperately. He didn't look angry. That terrified her more than anger ever could. The officiant hesitated. "Is everything all right?" he asked. The groom nodded once, then turned to the guests. "I'm sorry," he said evenly. "There won't be a wedding today." Gasps echoed. The woman stepped forward. "What are you doing?" she whispered. He looked at her. Really looked. "I finally listened," he replied. She turned toward the driver, eyes wide, pleading. He didn't move. The groom took a step back. "I won't marry someone who laughs about betraying me," he said. Not loudly, not dramatically, just truthfully. The room erupted into confusion, but the driver was already walking away. City carried on, unaware of the quiet collapse that had just occurred inside. The woman remained standing alone, veil still in place, future gone, not because she was exposed publicly, but because she had been heard. The driver stepped into the sunlight, pulled out his phone, accepted a new ride. As he drove away, the city reflected in the windshield. Another day, another story. Some people believe betrayal is safe, as long as it's whispered. They forget how dangerous a silent witness can be. Truth doesn't need revenge. It only needs the right person to hear it.